We open in the Barker Parlor in Edenton, North Carolina. Mrs. Penelope Barker, a well-dressed, energetic, and determined lady, sits embroidering before an embroidery frame. Mariah, a fresh and pretty girl who wears a maid's uniform with apron and cap, moves about, dusting and strengthening the bric-a-brac.
My, but it's a pretty day, Mrs. Barker.
Is it? I hadn't noticed. I've been too upset.
Upset? Why, ma'am, what about?
You know what about, Mariah. It's about the way the king is treating us. He is treating us like we're not citizens at all. He's put a tax on nearly everything, including our tea. Instead, we ought to be free people, to live and do as we choose.
A ship's horn is heard blowing in the distance, and Penelope and Mariah pause to listen.
What is it, Mariah?
It must be the British ship bringing in some more tea.
Well, they shan't land. They'll bring no more tea into Edenton.
But, ma'am, no tea at all?
No tea at all.
But every afternoon, what would you do without your tea? The ladies and the gentlemen, too. They'd never be happy without their tea.
Oh, you know as well as I do, Mariah, it isn't the tea I'm upset about. In fact, I dote upon my tea every afternoon, precisely at 4 o'clock, just the same as all the ladies in Edenton. It's the tax the king has put on the tea.
But how will you stop them, ma'am, from unloading the tea?
Well, I have a plan, and I am going to put it into use. I have stirred up the ladies, their patriotic feelings, and their love for our country.
But our country is England, ma'am. This colony belongs to England. We're subjects of the king, so we must obey what he says.
The time has come, Mariah, to put an end to that. I'll not beat about the bush, Mariah. So long as the British Parliament levies a tax on our tea and we have no representation in Parliament, why, we're not free citizens. We are reduced to the status of slaves. Taxation without representation, is that any way for the king to treat his people? I should say not, and I intend to do something about it.
But, ma'am, shouldn't such things be left to the gentlemen?
Indeed not. They have dillied and dallied long enough. That's why we're in the fix we're in. So the time has come for action, and I intend to do something here and now. Now, Mariah, will you do me a favor? I need for you to run an errand for me. I want you to run down the street to my dearest friend and tell her the time has come, and for her to spread the word and get the ladies, and I will be with her shortly.
The time is that afternoon in the Barker Parlor in Edenton. A tea table with an embroidered and laced edged cloth upon it had been placed in the room. Upon it are cups and saucers, napkins and so forth, and a plate of tea cakes.
Mariah, would you like to have a cup of this tea before my friends come? Let me give you a cup.
Mrs. Barker, are you trying to poison us? What is this?
It's tea, my dear.
But what is it made of?
Dried raspberry leaves. I picked them, I washed them, I dried them, and my doctor says it makes a very healthful brew.
Do you expect us to drink this terrible concoction for months?
Yes, indeed, as long as the king puts a tax on it.
It's not nearly so bad with sugar and cream. In fact, it makes a rather passable drink.
We will not pay the tax on tea that the king has put on you and me. Our only drink in the future will be a nice hot cup of raspberry tea. The doctor says he can guarantee that all who use this recipe will benefit and more healthy be, more able to fight for our liberty. So let me pour you a cup of raspberry tea. It's the only drink for this colony. When we go out in society, we'll all have a cup of raspberry tea. Yes, we'll all have some raspberry tea, raspberry tea, raspberry tea, the only drink for you and me is raspberry, raspberry, raspberry tea.
And now the finale of the play. This is the land that I love. Of all countries on earth it is best. And we who dwell in its borders should know, of all people on earth we are blessed. There's no other country on earth to compare with this beautiful land. So we're